One of the most fascinating things I've been studying lately is the self-organizing systems of nature. On how nature has this self-organizing intelligence, this natural force that creates these patterns that we see all around us. And these patterns are called fractals. And it's basically this self-similar pattern of growth, how a natural system grows, and how plants grow and trees grow, and how this self-organizing intelligence keeps the ecosystem, the wider forest or wider ecosystem, in this dynamic equilibrium. And it's really interesting when you read about this and you learn about how nature is non-linear, yet we try to impose these linear structures on nature. And a good example of that is maps. Like, the map is not the territory. For example, a coastline is this constant ebb and flow that's moving, that's never straight, always jagged, this ever changing pattern. Yet for maps, we have to make it Euclidean and solidified as being this measurable thing that we can say the country's coastline is this many miles and exactly, and we verified it with satellites and stuff, right? That's kind of what we do in this linear way of thinking that's dominant in the world today. But yet nature creates all around us these non-linear ways, these patterns, these dynamic ecosystems that have this equilibrium that's constantly being reached and being kind of in balance with. And it's like when you're riding a bike, how you have to balance on the bike and you have to keep the momentum going. That's how living complex systems thrive. They're not linear the way we think them to be. And we can kill things and then study their dead parts and static parts, but it's the meaning of it all is in the system. It's in the intelligent organization, this creative intelligence of the system. And when we start to see these patterns, these fractal patterns around us, these intelligent, self-similar patterns of how nature grows and thrives and reaches these dynamic equilibriums of different species of plants and trees and animals and birds in let's say a forest, it's amazing. It's really amazing. And there's something we can do in nature, just bring our full attention to observing these fractal patterns around us, the branching of trees, the structure of leaves, the patterns of different species of trees interspersed in the forest, and the plants and the ferns that grow out in these fractal like geometries. And we bring our attention to that. There's something there. There's some force creating that we can feel in our hearts, I really believe. And you feel that. It's not so much in your head, but in your heart. You feel a connection to something that's deeper, something that's divine, something that's intelligent, that is fundamental to who we are. Like, we are connected to it in ways we're not even aware of usually, right? And I think it's a paradox of the modern world that we worship these invisible gods of science and different religions, yet we're destroying the visible nature around us, from which all of our divinity comes from, all our concepts of divinity. And this is one of the most interesting thoughts I ever came across. This quote is that we are not aware of what real divinity is. It's the nature around us. It's the connections between people and ecosystems. And it's this organizing force in nature that is like a god. It's God's expression in this world. And we connect with that and we're aware of that and we realize there's a spirit, there's a sentience, there's intelligence to it. I think it changes everything. I think it gives us a new basis from which to build a sustainable relationship with the creatures and the intelligences around us. So that's why I'm so passionate about forest meditation, bringing your full attention to your felt presence in your body as you're wandering in a forest. So I think, what I always recommend is spend some time this week in a forest, notice the fractal patterns of the plants and the trees and the wider ecosystem, how it has this intelligence in it. There's a creative force in it, and feel that in your body when you notice that. And I think that's a powerful way to reconnect, in a sense, with nature. Yeah, so that's my thought for today. If you have any questions or you want to share your experiences of connecting to nature and to this self-organizing force around you, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Okay, thanks for listening.